Has new pictures and new video of the rescue of Nathan Carman. Now, Carman says he spent 8 days on a life raft after his boat sank. His mother, who was also on the boat, is still missing. Liam Martin joins us now with these new pictures. Liam?
Lisa, we obtained photos and video from the crew of the freighter, the Orient Lucky, that rescued 22-year-old Nathan Carman. You can see here that he jumped from the life raft to swim over to the freighter. That's him in the water. He says he had spent a week in that raft and that the freighter happened to spot him. Here we see the crew hoisting him up onto the ship, eventually wrapping him in a blanket and then getting him food before bringing him to shore to eventually be questioned by the Coast Guard. And now the question remains, what happened to Nathan Carman's mother? The two left September 17th on a fishing trip from Rhode Island. A week later, he was spotted by that freighter. His mother, nowhere in sight. Carman has told authorities he heard a strange sound on the boat, and then they started taking on water, and they quickly sank. We have since learned that Carman was once a person of interest in the death of his grandfather, though he was never charged in that case. Authorities have now seized several items from his home in Vermont and his mother's home in Connecticut, but he is not charged in this case.
Hello true crime fans, and welcome to Behind the Ella Tape. Today we're diving into a true crime story that involves a family fortune, an unsolved murder, a sinking boat and a mysterious disappearance at sea. It's the case of Nathan Carman. The story starts in December 2013 with the murder of Nathan's wealthy grandfather, John Chakalos, a real estate developer in Connecticut. John was 87 and he was found shot to death in his own home. Right away, police eyed Nathan. He was the last person known to have seen his grandfather alive, having had dinner with him the night before. Investigators learned that just weeks before the murder, Nathan had purchased a SIG rifle, the same caliber weapon they suspected was used in the killing. Nathan claimed he had lost the gun, and around the same time he also destroyed his computer's hard drive and the GPS unit in his truck. Talk about suspicious behaviour. However, despite drafting an arrest warrant for Nathan in connection with the murder, prosecutors ultimately declined to sign it, citing a lack of concrete evidence. Nathan inherited about $500,000 from two bank accounts set up by his grandfather, money he quickly spent. The murder of John Chakalos remained unsolved, but the cloud of suspicion over Nathan never went away. Nathan arranged a fishing trip with Linda off the coast of Rhode Island on his 32-foot boat, the Chicken Pox, but before they left, prosecutors claimed Nathan made suspicious alterations to the vessel. He allegedly removed two forward bulkheads and the boat's trim tabs, leaving 4 half-dollar-sized holes near the waterline, which he supposedly sealed improperly with an epoxy putty stick. On the 17th of September, they set sail. Just a few hours later, Nathan would later claim the boat began taking on water due to an engine malfunction. He said that he went to investigate, and when he returned, his mother was gone. The boat sunk quickly. Crucially, Nathan did not send a distress signal or use a radio for help. He simply climbed into a life raft. The Coast Guard searched for days. Linda was never found and is presumed dead. 8 days after leaving the marina, Nathan was finally found by a passing freighter, floating alone on the life raft, 100 miles offshore. He told the Coast Guard he was not responsible for the sinking. Just 2 weeks after his rescue, Nathan filed an $85,000 insurance claim for the lost boat. This is where things really escalated. The insurance company denied the claim, arguing that the sinking was caused intentionally due to his faulty repairs and unseaworthy condition of the boat. They turned all their evidence over to federal investigators. 6 years later, in May 2022, a federal grand jury indicted Nathan Carman on charges including murder on the high seas for his mother's death and multiple fraud counts related to both his mother's and his grandfather's deaths, accusing him of a years-long scheme to inherit the family wealth. The indictment explicitly stated he had shot and killed his grandfather, John Chakalos, as part of the plot, though he was formally charged only with his mother's murder and fraud. Nathan pleaded not guilty and was set to stand trial in the autumn of 2023. However, in June, Nathan Carman was found dead by suicide in his jail cell. The criminal charges against him were subsequently dismissed. He was never convicted of any crime, and the murder of John Chakalos remains officially unsolved. This case, full of twists, is a compelling and tragic example of alleged crime driven by greed, with 2 mysterious deaths leaving a wealthy family devastated and a chilling trail of circumstantial evidence. Thank you for listening today, and remember, stay behind the yellow tape.